Today I will be exploring some of the movie scenes, the locations from the indie movie Deadbeat at Dawn that was done by Jim Van Bebber in Dayton, Ohio in between 1984 and 87. It was released in 89, and it's a cult movie at this time. It's been re-released in 2019, and it's an indie film, but it's good. And Jim Van Bebber had a vision. I don't think he gets enough credit. You can look him up. He did a movie about Charlie's family, the Manson family. He also did My Sweet Satan, which is a short film. It was done here in Dayton as well, but that's not my thing. But the acting in it, if you were going to do that, be a crazy Satanist, he did it. He played the part very well. Now, in the first scene of Deadbeat at Dawn, you see actress Megan Murphy. She plays Chrissy. She went on to become she got a long line of acting work out of this professionally, not out of the indie film. You can look her up. Look up Deadbeat at Dawn at imdb.com, and you can see that she was one that really actually made it pretty well for herself outside of Jim Van Bebber. But this scene right here it's in the old Oregon district, and it's kind of odd because it was right down the street from where Connor Betts came through here in August a few years ago and shot and killed 8 people out on the streets of Oregon districts, including his sister. And our Dayton police took him out and killed him. He was able to shoot for 37 seconds before Dayton police killed him. But it was done right here. Now, some of the things that I point out is I noticed how this building was right here. I went right to this spot. And I also noticed that this is the end of a brick road, and there's only a couple of them in Dayton that are like that. So I went right to this spot when I started doing these locations. First I did it with Google Maps, but I went right to this, and this is not one I did with Google Maps. But she comes out to the car here. Now, one of the things that I see and that I notice is how this house has got this edge right here and this porch where they enter the porch from the side, and then how this is layered right here with this right here, and then 2 sets of windows there. Now, today, there's a lot more shrubbery down this street, and you can't really see it today, but I'll be able to point these spots out pretty well for you. She comes to her blue car right here, and then she's approached. Now, I like to do things by the scene, but you can see where he jumps in the car and pushes on her. You can see this light up right here.
Stupid shit. What a pleasant surprise.
Get the hell away from me.
Come on, I'm just trying to be a good neighbor.
Let me go.
See how the house has the sideway entrance, that porch goes up the side, and this right here? It's a different color today, but the side entrance gives it away, and this little screen door right there gives it away.
Especially since this ain't such a great neighborhood. There's a gang war going on.
It actually is a really nice neighborhood, and there's some $1 million homes back there. I don't know why they chose it.
No, please.
Hey, you know that? I just want to see you get there. You never know when someone's full of night. Now get the fuck in the car. I want to take someplace where you can see.
Notice the people in the blue car in the background right here, that old Nova. See, this is an independent film. They don't have, it's probably just these 2 people in a camera. And they see somebody pushing somebody in the car, and they kind of hesitate a little bit. They did this movie without any permits or anything. They just went and did it. But they went on and didn't help her. Now you can see right behind them how this porch comes down this way with these 2 posts there, and then these bricks that are in there. They're even in order. I like to line things up the best that I possibly can, and detail is very important when you're doing locations. Here's how that spot looks in 2025. You can see this, and the window a little bit's changed a little bit, but you can see how the mortar comes down from the brick right there. But that's how that spot looks today. Let's
just a little bit of this and through the window right behind him when he jumps in the car. You can see that black mark right there, and you can see the two things are still there. Then the police officer comes up and says, "Hey, what's going on?" About right here.
The logos and everything, but you can see this post in the background is still there today. This day, the houses are all still there, but this post made it as well. It's the very same one. I went and checked it out earlier today. So that scene happened right here, and you can see that post that I was talking about right back there. And
that's where the Deadbeat at Dawn scene was done. You can see from the post on that corner right there, the way that building's set up. You can also tell by this house right here, even though that stop sign wasn't there, this may be the very same no parking sign, because she walked out just above it. Her car would have been parked about right there. And the psychic's house was here, but it's gone now. Deadbeat at Dawn.
Get out of the car, sir.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Now look here.
It's fine to me.
Today's adult entertainment center is not there anymore, but the sign still exists. I do go down and show you this scene, but I'm going to Google map this real quick and show you exactly where this was. We had an adult entertainment center where they sold everything adult right next to Dayton Church Supply. And you can see the little things in the window there. But Dayton Church Supply still exists, and you can go in there. I actually bought a really nice Bible from there not too long ago. But I'll show us where that's at right now. That scene was shot from this viewpoint right here, and you can see that the old Dayton white and blue trash cans have been replaced with these newer ones in 2025. Right there is where that today's entertainment would have been. I can't get any closer with Google Maps. I don't think so. I'm going to try and go over there. But you can see Dayton Church Supply right there. It's still there. They also have a shot of Goose later on walking down through here where I actually got him. It's changed up quite a bit, but you can still see where the sign used to be. You can see the Dayton Church Supply, and you can see that they still, 30-some years later, put little decals inside of those windows to help sell. They've always done that. You can go in there and buy just about anything Church Dayton. But the thing of it is, it's just weird that we had an adult entertainment center next to the Church Supply, and the Church Supply won out. And then that scene today, this is from across, they did an uptight shot on it, but then, this is from that scene today. Single video on it. This is where our Dayton Dragons Field is now built here. This is the water tower. It's been there forever. But I did a complete video on it because I thought this is a good lineup. So I did a video on this in particular lineup by itself, and I'll share that right here. That's Jim Van Bebber right there, the director, the writer. He did all his own stunts and everything else. You can see him in Charlie's Family. You know, look for My Sweet Satan. He does another video after that. Yeah, that's Jim Van Bebber there. Let's find some more locations.
This is my fault. I'm gonna take this motherfucker out. You're on our turf, scum.
A lot of this movie was done at Willow Hill Cemetery. I did go up through there, but there is just so many. I mean, the markers, there's so many people in there. We've got the Wright brothers there, Paul Lawrence Dunbar, all kinds of people buried in there. And it was no way for me to match it up the way I wanted to. But I did manage to find one spot. Here is the entrance to Woodland Cemetery, where they did a lot of the scenes, the fight scenes in there. Again, I wasn't able to match up specific spots. I may be able to do that some other time because that is a huge cemetery. It's very huge. And here's that same entrance in the early 40s. Up at the top of Woodland Cemetery, they do have what's called the lookout, and you can stand right here and see down into the city. And Goose actually does, after he does the fight scene, he stands out and he looks at from this spot right here, and he goes, "You motherfuckers!"
Come on, man. Get up, man. Get up, man. Come on, man. Fuck man. Get up. Get up, man.
Right, this kick. Jim Van Bebber's good at martial arts. He is a martial artist. Watch this cat right there. Love it. Bam, right there. How cheesy. I don't want to play too much of the movie. Try not to get a copyright. But that's how cheesy it is. She's just loving her boyfriend. One of the best lines in the movie that Jim Van Bebber says is coming right now.
Fuck your noise. Fuck your noise. Fuck your noise. Fuck your noise.
A lot of these scenes that are interiors of here were filmed at Front Street. It's an old factory that the local bands rent out, usually to practice. Or Jim Van Bebber rented this, and I wasn't able to get in here and get access to this. I can only get the access to the outside of it.
I'm not. I'll be okay. This boy can take care of himself. Besides, after I sell this, we'll have some money.
I don't care about that. I love you.
Hey, come on, Chris. I'll lock the door.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Front Street apartment. I've been up in those years ago with the band White Ace when they practiced. Some of us people back in the day, we might remember them little bottles of Rush that you could shake them up and snort them, and it'd send you to the freaking moon. Well, Bone Crusher, which is one of the main characters here, he, it's definitely 80s.
Give me that rush.
If I did that shit today, I'd pass out. These film is over on Front Street too.
Nothing compared to the.
He said, "Man, that ain't nothing, man, compared to that rush you can get when you're killing somebody, man." It was filmed on Front Street too, and you can see the windows up there that match it up. It's Front Street over there. I go back to it. I couldn't find this exact window, but I know it's Front Street. You'll see later on in these clips, they did another scene down there where I actually went to it. And I think I go back to Bone Crusher, and you can see these windows right here. They were standing about right there. Bone Crusher goes on to play Tex Watson in Jim Van Bebber's movie called Charlie's Family.
Right out of them. It's power. I hate people, man. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about nothing. Nah. All my life, people fuck with me. Don't you fuck with me, man. I just fucking hate people. I hate people. And I don't care. I just don't fucking care. I don't care.
Excuse me.
No, I am the baddest motherfucker you ever saw, man.
This is part of that adult entertainment sign that I showed earlier in the clip. And in this one, I can actually match it up on foot where Jim Van Bebber's walking through here. The Tom Tom Club, the Adults Welcome, and then the Dayton Church Supply. It's right over in here. Let's see.
Here we see a quick scene of Goose just walking up the street here. Today's adult entertainment sign is no longer there, but it used to be a XXX store, and they've extended the sidewalk quite a bit. But this is where Goose was walking. You're rocking out over there. This is the Dayton Fire Block, Salt Block District. Right across the street over there is where another scene was done. I'm gonna go there.
Does anybody remember that underground crosswalk? The overhead crosswalk that was at Elder Beerman's. Yeah, it took us from over there to Courthouse Square. It's no longer there. That used to be right here. And I think you can kind of see the marks from there, right here. It took you across over to here. You kind of see the marks, but not really. No, they did a good job of getting it going. But yeah, just bring you right over to here. You can see the mark right there where it was. The round mark is still there, but it went right across there, and it took you into a courthouse square. But that's cool because they did a little clip of it right here. That Nova is coming up this way. That's our city hall. Dayton memories. I've walked across that thing many times, rode my bikes. They took it out. When they had an elevator, actually, it took you to an elevator that went down right in front of the plaza at Courthouse Square. I searched really hard for a picture of that glass elevator that led you down into the Courthouse Square. And so far, the best that I've been able to find on that is this. This is the stairway that you, after you got off the elevator, you can see the glass roof. You walk down, and you can see the courthouse right there and the fountain behind it. That's the closest I can get. If anybody has that picture of that, let me know. I'd like to see that again, because when I was a kid, we used to go up and down this right here, and they took the elevator out in like 87 or 88. The Courthouse Square opened in 1974, I believe. But this is the way we got in up and down that elevator. The elevator used to, this is that alley from the elevator, and then going down the stairs, you'd go down it. But the elevator used to sit right here. Now, I don't know how many people remember that there used to be, this is where the elevator was. The elevator used to be right here. If you remember, it was a glass elevator that would let you down into courthouse. I don't know if it'll let me go in there. It might. Never know. Nope. They used to have an elevator there back in the day. So you used to be able to cross the street from there. And then, again, there is the evidence of it right there. You can see how it was a round tunnel. Cool. Let's get back to the show. I have to show a little bit of this scene right here. There it is again. Let's see where he's at. That building doesn't exist anymore. And I can tell where he's at by these right here. That's our courthouse square, the pillars in our courthouse square. So he's at 3rd and Main. And back in the day, there was no bus hub for people to ride transit, public transit, and they would meet right there. But these buildings, I'm going to go ahead and look at it. I just noticed this. And I didn't notice this before when I was doing locations for this movie. So I'm going to see if I can find that with Google Maps. This building has changed quite a bit, but Goose would have been standing right in this area right here, because the pillars that I'm talking about that are in the background are these. You can see them lined up evenly. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Right? And from where he's standing, there's the first one. It looks like they're all lined up, but that would mean that he was standing probably right in this area, but that's a whole new building now. And again, you can see the pillars. They're lined up evenly because he's lined up right with them. And you can see the building right behind it. But this is not the same setup. You see there's a double door that opens right here. Those bus stops are no longer there, but that building is right behind it. Yeah, and in this scene, Goose looks down the street opposite of him, and that's the way they used to be. They used to have these benches here for us to sit on, because I rode the bus a lot when I was a kid. I rode it, you know, I like to get around. But this is what I'll show you where he's looking at. Goose is kind of looking down, you know, he's standing over there. He's kind of looking back that way. And those benches are no longer there like that. The light posts still remain, but the benches are gone. In this scene, Bone Crusher and them break into the house there, and they do some terrible things to her, which ended her. And it's a pretty gory scene, and it's not politically correct at all. That's why these indie gore movies make it, because you don't expect the shit they do. But that's the basis of the movie, is him getting revenge for them doing what they did to her. Now, this area of 3rd and Main has changed quite a bit over the years, and this alley is not the same as it used to be, because they put a new building right there here. But I was able to line it up because of these up here and this window right here, where they're at in downtown Dayton, right across from the bus hub. You can see from the entrance point of this lobby, this alley, forgive me, that it's changed quite a bit. But you can still see these right here matching up. Yeah, and I just noticed this. They must have used a really powerful lens, because it looks like he's at the corner. I can see that from Courthouse, but he's actually up on 4th Street, because he slips into this alley that's right behind him. And I didn't notice that until before, because they've changed it so much. But I'll show you what I'm talking about now. I think I know exactly where he's standing at. Well, according to him slipping, because this door opens outward, and earlier you could see it. But according to him slipping into that alley, he's just a little bit further down than I thought. I thought he was standing up here. I thought he was right in here. But no, he was actually right here. Even though it's a little bit different. Where he beats the guy out of the drug money, makes himself $100,000, but he slips right into this alley right here. He's got the fancy old sports sunglasses that everybody used to wear. Yeah, they walk right into the alley from where that would mean our lovely drug dealer walked from here. And then they went in that alley, and that does match up, those windows. Yeah. It's a little bit different on this side, but it does match up here. See, all this is, they took a building out right here. That's why I thought it was that. And see, directly behind them, there was no bus hub. People that know Dayton know this bus hub. It's directly across from that alley that he walked into to rob the drug dealer. It's directly across from there. And you can see that it was in the works to put it there, but there was still a building there. They took a few buildings to create this. I don't know. Lindsay right up against this window right here, it looks like in the movie. In this scene, it gives me another clue as to the location. I can see in this no parking sign, it says no parking, McCroy's Freight entrance receiving hours 8 to 3. McCroy's. Anybody remember McCroy's? That was downtown. It's in the same area that I'm talking about here. This building right here used to be McCroy's, and it would lead you into the arcade. And that's no longer McCroy's, but so that would have changed up a little bit how that looked. McCroy's was right there, and no parking probably was right. The no parking sign was probably about right. I wish I could go down in that alley, but Google Maps only lets you do so much. And just to clarify, this is a 1924 shot of that same area. This is where Jim Van Bebber was standing, and they went into that alley right there. I lined it up because I know the McCrory name, and I can see these 4 windows right here. That's what lines it up. And I saw something else. I noticed that this is a Miami Savings building, Miami Savings Bank, which I didn't know existed. That shows me something else about this movie. As he's standing right there, I could see a logo for Miami Savings. And I didn't know that that was there. I didn't notice that before. But, you know, I'm learning a little Dayton history as I do this movie. 2 of my favorite things to do. You can tell it's the same exact building because of this up here at the top. Cool beans. I like it when I learn something. I like it when I do history and a movie location at the same time. That would be that shot right there. Bam. Let's line them up. Okay. Back to the movie. Another famous movie line in this movie is from this drug dealer right here.
Hey! What do you want with Crane? Look, I can sell it to kids. I can sell it on the street. What the fuck difference does it make to you anyway?
Yeah, that's TNT Fashions and all that stuff back there. Yeah.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, I got a dollar, Jerry.
Oh.
This scene was filmed at the Southern Belle Lounge, and a lot of Daytonians know that we now have the Southern Belle Tavern, which is over on Patterson Boulevard. But the original Southern Belle Lounge was on in the Oregon district, and it's sold. There's no way I can get in there and line it up. I can't find any old pictures of it or anything. It's a pretty famous place here in Dayton. I'll show you. This is the old Southern Belle right here. It's been updated. It's 151 Brown Street in the Oregon district. But this is where the scenes in the that I'm going to show here were filmed at. It's been highly renovated anyway, even if I did get permission to go in there, because I just found this. I'll show you. It doesn't look nothing like what it used to look like. So they've changed it, they've modernized it.
I'll do it one more time.
I got one more. Can't make it.
He gets a little drunk and he's having issues with his girl because he found out his girlfriend was killed,
I'm William.
and he's trying to drink away his pain.
I mean, like an animal.
Why can you make me feel tired?
Now, right here,
Hi.
do you see that?
Hi.
Hi.
Southern Belle Lounge.
How you doing?
Oh, just fine. How you doing?
Oh, I'm all right. What's your name?
Oh, Tom, what's yours?
Again, these scenes were filmed in the
Hello, Goose.
front house rental warehouses. You can tell by the big old doors. I can tell by the elevator there. I've been out there, but it's been a very long time. It's all in the front street apartments. There's the elevator. You get up and down. Remember that, people? I know a lot of us have been up there partying with the bands.
Wasted! I'm cool! I'm cool! Shut up! Asshole. Just be cool, man.
Let's take a look. See, we have a lot of artists that work out there, starving artists now, that work out of those areas. These are the front street area that I'm talking about that he filmed these in. Like I said, they rent these out, and it was usually for local bands. Probably, it'd be a good place to rent out if you were needing a spot for some movie scenes. But it's Front Street in Dayton. I believe a lot of those scenes were filmed inside of those, actually in this building right here, because that elevator that you see in the back, I remember coming in here to hang out with a band called White Ace, and I remember that elevator specifically. And they filmed a scene down here that I went to the location of that earlier. Yeah, this is all for art now. Wow, they changed those tags that quick? Yeah, here's where Bone Crusher was standing, where he said, this is where Bone Crusher was at. I'm the meanest motherfucker alive, man. Right here. Where he was at. Again. Don't you fuck with me, man.
Shit about nothing. Man. All my life people fuck with me. Don't you fuck with me, man. I just fucking hate
Right.
people.
I'll show you this.
And I don't care. I just don't fucking care. I don't care. I'm the baddest motherfucker you ever saw, man.
And from where he was standing, this is painted red now, where he said, don't you fuck with me, man. And you can see these windows are all gone now, but they used to be brown windows, but there's one just above his head there. And then you can see this little thing sticking out right there. So that's cool to line it up that well. Let me show you. You can see now that this building is painted white, and this window right here is boarded up. You can tell where he was standing at by this, just above his head right there.
This motherfucker you ever saw,
See that bad boy sticking out right there? That's a nice clue.
man.
And there's that right there that was sticking up, and there's the window he was standing next to. The scene was done right here, where the X marks the spot. And it's really cool because this whole building is all about art in Dayton now. These are starving artists, musicians, writers, painters. It's all about art, and indie films are an art. It's pretty cool that it ended up. I wonder how many of these people know the history of that movie that was filmed there. Okay. Back to the show. I knew if I searched hard enough, I'd find that elevator that I was talking about that we used to go up and down to get in Front Street that is in that movie. And there it is. Let's see what he does with it. Just beyond this elevator is where the fight scene was done. That's the elevator on Front Street. Let's see where he gets out at. It always says it's not a passenger elevator. Yeah, that fight was probably in the hallway right there. I'd say the fight was in the hallway right here with Snake and Goose. There's the elevator right there on Front Street. Let's move it back just a tad. Still 2 doors to it. Cool. Found it. See the gentleman moving on wood floors too. There's wood floors in the fight scene. There's that elevator, the famous elevator, Front Street. And there you have it. You can see the brick right next to it. And back to the movie.
Shut up! Where's Keith? This is business. You don't have time for that bullshit. You cool? Now, if you just shut up, I'll tell you about this plan me and Danny Boy got here. He's right my hands up, bitch! Get back!
Oh, that would suck. Yeah.
All right, here's the deal. We got a job at the end of the month, a robbery. Armored car. We're gonna take you back because we could use you. Now, you will come back and you will take orders from me.
This is the cheesiest gang movie I've ever seen, though. This scene was also filmed at 3rd and Main in Dayton. You can see the RTA office there, and that was Gem City Savings Bank back in the day. Along here would be our courthouse square. You can see one little post of that right there. Let's let the scene play out. Notice where they're standing at, because I lined this up before. These 2 posts right here are significant. Then they end up on Front Street, but let's do this. They end up way across town after they did all that running. Do this real quick. This is where the band was marching. You can see from the lines right there where they marched. You see the background there. When I get out the street, you see it there. I noticed the manhole before. And you can see these, pretty significant designs in the buildings. And you see this line and this line. There was a manhole there. I don't know if it's still there. Let's see. Well, isn't that cool? You can see where they covered up the manhole. It used to be there. This line's still in the same spot. This has changed a little bit. This is to be rounded off. Right there is where that manhole used to be. That's what it looks like. You tell me. It. So let's see if we can do a few steps over from this line. Let's go 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4. Let's just go with 4 steps. I do believe that's it. You can tell it's the circle there. Huh. Anyways, let's move along. We'll stop that right there so I can continue with what I did earlier.
Street, just on that line right there. And then Bone Crusher and them followed, the band went this way. Bone Crusher and them, this has all been redone. There used to be here, but Bone.
Now, what I noticed in this scene was this right here and the corner there. It's still there. It's still there. Yeah, I like to see in the old Dayton police car, the Dodger Diplomats that they used to drive. But you can see Courthouse Square real good in this clip right here. Right there is the building next to it. This is our City Hall with the 2 posts right there and a one-way sign going that way. Let me show you what I came up with.
Bone Crusher and them came down this side of the sidewalk. One of them jumped over a bench that was right here. There's the Dayton police car in the second lane, and one of the old ones, one of the old Diplomats. And they were kind of like right in here when they started to the band was going across the street there. And I'll show you the scene from where Bone Crusher and them went across the street. You see the old Dayton police car was about right there. And then I have to edit this so I can turn it around. You can kind of see this post in the movie. This one right here. Now, Bone Crusher and them kind of, I have to get in the middle of the street. Kind of dangerous down here. The man was coming this way. Bone Crusher and them were crossing the street about right here. And I'll show you how I can tell. I have to get out in the middle of the street and do this. People are going to think I'm crazy. Well, you can see that the band was coming this way. You can see a part of this building right here where the trees are covering it. They came across the street, and then the scene ended. I chose a Sunday to do this so it wouldn't be so busy downtown. See the band right here? Now, in the shot where they're crossing the street, you can see those 2 poles right there on that's our City Hall, and Bone Crusher will cross the street about right here. And you can see the like I said, you can match it up with that right there. This right here, where they set the mattress on fire, had a car come down this way and burn over there. Right there's 4 cars in the middle of the road. Bone Crusher was right out here. But the scene, it looked like they shot some from right here, because you can see that. Wow. And something over here, it looks like. About right here.
For Bone Crusher and them, they come all the way from downtown to Front Street here again for this scene. stop there at the robbery scene.
And it's something over here, it looks like. About right here. It's on fire in the middle of the road. And a lot of the inside movies, the inside scenes, were filmed up in here. You see the windows. I can't get in there. But you can rent these out. The local bands here in Dayton rent these out. And you can tell that Goose and some of them were in the... You can tell by the windows, the way they're shaped, and the wood, that they filmed some of it in here. And I can't get in there to do that. But right there's where they caught the car, the mattress on fire.
And what sticks out here the most, is that overhead tunnel for one. And then this manhole right here, there's another one right there where they burnt the mattress up. It says 1,000 right here on the Front Street building out. They had painted them up. They were getting pretty bad. They painted them up, but that manhole is significant. And a little gutter over there. Let's see. There's that same manhole. It's still the same way with that extra cement around it. There's my beast. Now we're coming to the best part of the movie for me. It's one I like the most. Right across, this is the Courthouse Plaza right here. This would be the old Gem City Bank. And the Brinks trucks, I guess they rented one out because they filmed this whole movie without any permits. They got ran off from here once by the security guard. They got ran off from here. I got ran off, which is quite interesting. I'd never thought about it. The first time that I went up to get the footage of the point of view that Goose would have had on the way down, the first time I went up there, the security guard would not let me up, and I had to come back to the car. But I went back later and I got those shots. But the first time, security ran them off as well when they were filming the movie. Now, Jim Van Bebber, again, I'll tell you that he's never done anything like this. As you can see where he had the rope around the column there. But he's never done anything like this, but I'm going to give tribute to him for doing it.
So I wanted to get the shot where Goose was doing his rappelling down the building. He would have been tied up right here. This is Jim Van Bebber's first time doing a stunt like this. But he just tied off around this post right here. He came down on this side right here, and this is what he saw. This is what he saw. The fight scene was right down there. You see the vent right there, and the Brinks truck pulled up through that alley right there. Like I said, he rappelled right down off of this. I don't know if I would have done it. The first time Jim Van Bebber done that. You can also see that this parking lot here. There's another building that used to be here, right there. That's where Bone Crusher and them came off and jumped into the alley right here. You got down to about the second floor, which I'm gonna go down there too. Third floor, and I'm gonna get a shot of where he threw that throwing star at somebody at the security guard. This is Jim's view. Again. I wouldn't have done it. couple of floors. I wanted to see if I could get that shot. See how you can see the corner of that building there as Bebber's coming down the wall right here? He stops about right here. This is where he turns and does that shot where he throws the Chinese star at the security guard. And then he shimmies on down. I'll show you where he exactly shimmied down at.
That's the building I showed in the first place, that's the background. He's got the big old Chinese throwing star right there. But that's the alley I was just showing. Let's see what he does here. That's me talking a little bit more. That's the back behind him building. You can see it right there where the blue's going up and down. That's that building. And you can see Courthouse Square down there. That's Courthouse Square as well. I'm just making sure that we can see the proper lineups. This is the front of the building looking towards the garage. He's coming down. Right here is where he's sitting at. Got him. There you go. Gonna get him. Now you can see from this grate right here where that I'm in the right spot for the fight scene. Sorry, it's moving around a little bit. Right there's that grate. Let me move it. Right there's that building. The fight scene happened right here. Like I said, that Brinks truck was right there. You can see some of this. You can see the grate right there. You can see that sign that is still there too. The sign is still there. Now this is the same car that was in the 6th Street where she got attacked in. Now I couldn't get back there on Google Maps, but I was able to do it later on. But right here is where that car was sitting. And it took off that way, see? See the Brinks truck? Doorway there, doorway there. Yeah, they were doing something. I couldn't get there that day. Yeah, I'll keep showing that. I just want to make sure. There's that whole alley again.
A large teenage gang attacked and robbed a security guard to the Second National Bank of Dayton.
We can do great things, brothers. That's right, we're gonna be like.
Showing Bone Crusher scene. I've counted down to be sure that I knew which one he was at. So I go down the building. You can tell by this door here. You can see in the movie where he was. I went to the right spot. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I had to count them down to be sure I was going to the right spot. This clip is a little bit shady. He comes down the building there. There's the building. He came down right here on this side. And then here's part of the alley right here. Then you can see that building off in the back a little bit right there. And then you can see it right there. The gym right here. The gym is right there. Yeah. I see the security guard. Bam, got him. Not very nice. And he slides down that little row right there. You see the line where he slid down. That poor security guard took one for the team, didn't he? You can see the even line that he's sliding down. Right here. He made it. Then there was another another building that has since been removed. That's how they came from the way they did.
You see that the robbery and the repelling scene took place right here in this alley. You can line it up. You can see a little bit of that Bank 1 building behind it. They went into 1, 2, the third row down is where he repelled down. And you can see the 2 doors and everything, but I'm going to go across the street here as soon as the car goes by. Oh no, jaywalking. Of course, when I get out in the middle of the road, everybody says, hey, let's go down 1st Street. Actually, it's 3rd Street. If I move over this way just a little bit. This is the scene where he stopped on that rope and he threw that Chinese throwing star and hit that Brinks truck driver right in the back of the neck with it and just splattered him. But you can see the door that's in front of me. You can see that this all lines up. Back in 1987. The Brinks truck would have been right directly in front of me, up against this wall here. You can also see that there's still some kind of air conditioning unit there. During the fight scene, you can clearly see I'm kind of standing right in the spot where it happened. You can see that very well. Right there is the scene where he rappelled down and threw the Chinese throwing star right in the back of his neck, the security guard's neck. Big fight scene happened on this corner here. Now, there's a scene where they're driving away in the old, it looks like a Chevelle. They're jumping in and taking off. When I came down here, just to blueprint the locations, there was something in this area right here, and I couldn't do it. Whatever it is, they fixed it, and it's a done deal. But that scene took place right about here. Courthouse Square today. There's so many, I can do so many videos on that place over there. But the scene from Deadbeat At Dawn when they're jumping into the car, with the fight scene. It was one of the biggest scenes in the movie. Right side of the neck. Oh! That happened about right there. Again, I'm trying to put a better perspective on the Brinks robbery scene. You can see the Brinks truck coming into this alley. You can see some of these doorways in the movie. The Brinks truck comes in right through here, comes this way. Goose is up on the 6th floor up there, and he shimmies down. Because the Brinks truck parks kind of like right here. Yeah, right here is where he parks at. The Brinks truck parks right there. And Goose comes sliding down to like the 2nd floor from up there. And you can see the security guard, or the Brinks guy, standing about right here when Goose gets him with the Chinese throwing star. Like I said, Jim Van Bebber did that scene himself, and it was the first time he ever did a rappel scene like that. In the fight scene, there was another building that was up right here. They came along the side of that building and jumped down to right here. And you can see Jim Van Bebber about right here lining up those doors. He comes this way. They're fighting kind of right there in the middle. They've changed this just a little bit, but I can still match it up because of that grate right there. You see that grated thing, you see that in the movie. And when they take off, they have an old old Chevelle, about a 74 Chevelle. This wasn't quite like this in the 80s with that and that, but the car that took off, see the alley's been widened. They were about right here. When they jump in the car and take off out the alley that way. You can still see some of that guard.
This hour's top story concerns the violent robbery of an armored car at Dayton.
Some of it missing because that turn didn't used to be there. But you can still see some of this garter on the movie. It says, when they take off. see some of this guardrail when they take off. Deadbeat at Dawn, Jim Van Bebber.
In this short scene, he's running across Kiwi and Dixie, and I noticed something just because it was just a flash. I noticed something real quick. You have the old McCook Theater right here and the bowling alley, which has now been torn down. Let's go to that location. McCook Theater used to be right here, so this would be that scene where he running across the street from. He's nowhere near where he took off from. They took the telephone pole out that used to be right here, but he ran from right here to over there. You can't see much, but the theater was right there, and now it's gone. You see where McCook's bowling alley starts right there, and the theater's right there. You get a shot of just this piece of the corner of this building, because McCook's, the theater, was right here. It's gone. But you get that shot right there. Let's see here. See the corner of the building right there? Let's see. Right there. It's even got wood on it where it was shut down back then. Some of the old cars in this is really cool too. Let's see here. You see that right there, that piece of wood. Oh, it's brick, okay. Right here's where Cook's Theater would have been. He would have came from across the street right to about right here. I don't know why they did that scene there. They had all for a 30-second scene, if that. Right there.
He's out there.
Now, a lot of this is filmed at the old Union train station in Dayton, Ohio. And these buildings and the platforms have been torn down, but the tracks are still there. And you can see this platform is still there. Just not this and that, but you can see it, and I'll show you.
There somewhere. Take the wheels. Search the southeast side. The rest of us will spread out. Find him!
This is an aerial view of where the fight scene on the train tracks took place at. You can see that this is the area right here where the train tracks were. And you can see the Holden House and the Wilkinson, and I worked there for a while. But the main fight scene are right here on these tracks. Where he's at now, since it's all been changed, is likely to be, I know that's I-75 just above him, but I would assume that the area that he's in now is back this way, because they've changed it so much. It's like right in under here, so let's take a look. Now, there really is no way for me to match that scene up where he's sitting under the overpass, because they've changed the overpasses significantly in the Dayton area. But it would be in this area somewhere that he was at. Probably right over in here. Let's see if I can get under this bridge. Yeah, because you can see Dayton in the background, and specifically the Holman building. Yeah, a lot of this was done at Woodland Cemetery. It's a really famous place. There's really no way for me to match things up. I went through it a couple different times, and there's just no way for me. There's too many plots. I do know that this is one area right here. I was able to line this up real quick. It's a lot different than it used to be, but not really. You could tell where this scene was done. Right here. See these two right here, and then the long one, and then this one right here with the right behind it. I mean, she was right in this area right here. See it? Isn't that cool? Yep. Right there. Her ghost is haunting him. The other gang members killed her. I have to pause it here because this one was really easy to find because we're at Main and Hudson with the sign right there. It's not too far from where I'm at, but this building still exists. It's just empty now. This is what that building looks like in 2025 as compared to 1987. You can still see the little sign, the fragment of the sign there. And there's just a little scene that was done inside of that eatery. A real quick scene. And you can see that this is the same. How it leans down. There's a window right there. It's a different building. You can see where the signs used to be. We got 1, 2, 3 poles right directly in front of it. Let's see. Main and Hudson. Oh, I like my little Google guy. Sometimes he gets a little carried away, though. This is that building there. The window. Except here where those ice cream signs used to be. Pole is still there. You see that place no longer exists. The magic of Google Maps.
Here, sir. Here's your breakfast this morning. Here you go. Sunny side up eggs, right? Toast. And there's your juice. Anything else I can get for you today, sir? Maybe a little bit more coffee?
Funny thing.
That's just one of them.
I didn't go on foot to this one, but the BHA that you see right there, they sell pianos and stuff like that. Have for Dayton. This is what it looks like now. And I was trying to figure out where they might have got that shot. You can see the downtown. I was trying to figure out where they got the shot from. And it just doesn't line up. And you can see the building is still there. And they must have went up on this hill right here to get that shot across the top of this building right here into where BHA is at. That's the same building, just painted different. The two garages are doors are now windows. Looks like it used to be an oil change place. That's what it looks like. And BHA, they've changed it a lot. But at the same time, it's different. It'd be up on Patterson and Stewart. But here we go to the fight scene. And now we can see the platform that he's laying on right there. I actually walked through some of this. I don't know if I was in the exact spot, but I was sure close. It's still there. The buildings were tore down around the train tracks. But this is so beaten by the sun. When I was walking through it, I felt like the concrete was going to cave in. There were some spots where it caved in. But let's see what we got. And it took a while for me to find it, but I got it to... I found a way to get up there, and it took me... I had to walk about half a mile down, half a mile back to get up there to find these scenes. But these are the platforms that I'm talking about. Goose is laying on. A lot of the fight scenes took place at the old Dayton train station, but it's no longer here. Only the foundation. Some of this that I'm standing on, fight scenes were done in. But they've tore down the buildings. But I could take us to... There's one scene where Bone Crusher grabs a big piece of metal and comes after Jim Van Bebber. And through my editing, I do believe that I could see this part of a building in a scene. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, that was correct. So the fight scene would have been done more on this platform right here, because you can see this building right here in the background still. See how it lines up right there, and then there's a little vent thing there, a little thing there. Let's see. You can see a building and a platform right there, and a little bit of railing right over there. But there's that part of the building. It's almost a perfect lineup. The fight scene had to have happened right here. You can see the railing and the fence right there. Let's continue. The buildings, but I could take us to... There's one scene where Bone Crusher grabs a big piece of metal and comes after Jim Van. And again, this is the area that they're fighting in. The scene is... This is the back part of the building that you can see them. They're right in here, right here exactly, as a matter of fact. Let's roll on down there. Right there. So I want to see if that building is still there and if I can get behind it. But anyways, so they're doing most all of their fighting on this, the remnants of this platform right here. This one. Pretty cool. It's because you can see this building in the background and the one across the street. I want to see if my little Google map guy can help us out here. Then we can see that building and that building there. Let's go right here. Yeah, this is the top part of the building you would see in the movie. Sinclair College. Yep, they bought it out. The building's still there, they just bought it. The college just bought it. But you can see up along here the railroad tracks. Which I had to walk a lot of that yesterday to get some of these clips. But back to the movie. And again, just for clarity, we were just on the street in front of this building, and this scene is behind it. In this scene, you can see a little bit of the church steeple right here. I believe I know where that's at, so I'm going to take a look. I like to do these locations. I want to be detailed. You see him up there, a little church, and coming down. It's over across this. Let's see here. Now, this is directly, you can't see it now, but the railroad The railroad tracks are just on the other side of this here. And it appears, it appears that church steeple is right there. Yep. You can see the cross in the church. I don't think you can see the cross in the movie, but it's this steeple. And we can tell it's the same one because of the design doors on the bell tower. The design, there's a little cross on top of it. Let's take another look. See how that's off like that? It's got a thing going right across it. We can't see this, but we can see that it's got that. It's leading up to that cross. That's just from a quick part of the editing process. I saw that. You can see a little bit of this right here too. Oh, it's gory. Gory. Now you can see Bone Crusher picking up this heavy piece of steel to go after Goose with it. I got off onto a tangent with something else. But let's line this one up. That's the Holden house at 5th and Wilkinson. And you can see a bit of this right here. This building, I do go over into this section. This building is, this whole thing has just been flattened down to nothing but the platforms and the train tracks. And I apologize that my phone was on this ratio when I was up there getting these locations, but I didn't know it was on this ratio. But you can still see it. I didn't want to have to do all that walking again. But right here is where Bone Crusher would have been standing.
Van Bebber, Goose. But see, the buildings have been gone. The lower parts are still here. Oh, man, I feel like it's going to crack right there. No, it feels like you fall through that.
Yeah, it cracked. You see how bad, Goose was laying on
the buildings that they were fighting on. Is right here. You see
Let's go back just a tad. This right here is the Wilkinson. I know I've probably said this 10 times. It was built in 1979. It's DMHA owned it. My office used to be directly on the other side of this right here, but I worked in that building for quite a while as a maintenance tech for the Dayton Metropolitan Housing Authority and security in that building. But where we're at, you can see that building right there, and you can see that there's obviously a wall that they were fighting on. It was all done right up here on this platform, which I step onto it in just a second.
See a lot of this in the movie. This exact shot. So I go up like that. That is the famous Holden house in Dayton, Ohio. It's a crack hotel. And that is the Wilkinson Plaza. We're going to tear that down soon, but I used to work there. But if I come over this way, these things feel like they're going to fall through. This is where a lot of the fighting on the train station, the train tracks were on the bottom levels. But if you come right here, it might be able to take you to where Jim Van Bebber and Bone Crusher actually were, if it's safe enough to get over here. Let's see.
Right there.
Do the best I can to get this shot.
You can see that this wall right here And this brick, there's still some remnants of that brick there, but it's all been removed. Where I'm standing at right now is about right here. No.
This is where a lot of the fighting on the train station, the train tracks were on the bottom levels. But if you come right here, might be able to take you to where Jim Van Bebber and Bone Crusher actually were. If it's safe enough to get over here. Let's see. Do the best I can to get this shot. You see the in the movie, it appears that Jim Van Bebber threw Bone Crusher over the bridge here, but they actually changed scenery to get that other shot. You see the Wilkinson in the movie a lot.
Yeah, right here is where the brick wall was.
No way I'm going down this way.
Where I was standing at, that brick wall is gone now. They were fighting up against it.
No, I'd rather walk half a mile back. So the only way I'm going to get down is if I go back to where I was. Okay.
I had enough being up there, apparently. I think I get one more turn around and get one more shot. Yeah, that's me. Get one more shot of the area that they were fighting in. They were fighting along this area here. Goose was laying back where I just panned away from. Cool. That's where Goose was laying over there on the, right about there.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to fall through.
It really does. It was nice and crusty.
This should be the platforms where people would wait on trains to come in and out of Dayton.
Yeah. There's pictures if you look
at the train house right there. But they took it all. In the movie, you can see the covers that were over it, but they took it all out.
That steeple was actually in the movie. It was saying hello to me. That's going to leave a mark. Now, it appears that he threw him over there, right where I was showing us these scenes at. Let me go back to this. It appears that he threw him over right there. You know, you can see the two buildings, but that's not what the case.
Until I got to really logic in this here video, because I noticed something that I didn't notice before until I got to really research in this video. The Dayton train station is not even there anymore, but some of the Rembrandts of this bridge are. And what I'm noticing here is what you have here is the Liberty Tower, right? Then you have the Dayton Daily, or the Dayton School Board Office. Then right here, you have the Wilkinson Plaza, and right behind that is for police training. But this is in 1987. But it appears that he's going to throw him down onto this street. But that's not the street he throws him down on. Let me show you. That's Bone Crusher with Goose in the movie Deadbeat At Dawn. Back along here is where the old train station used to be. There's train tracks just beyond that. And it appears that Goose attempted, wants to make it look like he's throwing him off into the street from this area right here because of this lineup. Right here. This tree doesn't show you the Wilkinson because the tree's in the way, but if I move up, you can see it. So if we look right here, we can see that building right there. So we know that the shot was from here somewhere. But since that's all tore down now, it's a little bit different. It's, a little bit different to see. But he didn't throw him down there. He threw him down about 4 blocks away. Right here. One of the things that also lets me know I'm in the right spot is this fire hydrant right here, because they don't disappear. They don't remove them. Now, a lot of this other stuff has changed in this building. There's some steps now. But the hydrants don't disappear. And there it is. It's right there. It's that fire hydrant that we're looking at. Let's see if we can see this bad boy right next to it. They must have changed the curb, but I can kind of see that spot next to it. And they changed they took the sewer out right there and they extended it a little bit. But that's the same fire hydrant. Same one. Somebody throws them over and it's on the street. But it's in a different part of town. You don't see the buildings there. You don't see any of that. But I know where that's at. When Bone Crusher gets thrown off of the bridge, it's actually a different bridge. But you can see his body laying right here. His body lands right here off of the bridge. You can see it right there. That's where Bone Crusher's laid at. And then a car comes along. They got that shot from right here. About right here. The car comes by and hits him, smashes his head. His head goes rolling up against this curb up there. And I can tell that it's this curb because of this pole right here.
And see, this is at 5th and Main in Dayton. This is the Dayton Convention Center. You can see a doorway directly across from the pole where the fake head bounces off. But you can see a doorway. That's the pole that I'm talking about that helps me find it. It's a different curve even, but I'm close in the area. You can see how these buildings line up. That's there, and that's there. And this is a little bit different now. But we can see those. This is from the movie. The video shows the Mead building right there. And it shows this building too. It still exists there. It's still there today. It just doesn't say Mead on it anymore. It's right there. But they took the Mead family moved out of Dayton a long time ago.
You can see that pole's kind of farther up the road. They kind of had to get right here and throw it. But his head bounced off the road, right? The curb right here. Then it laid out in the middle of the road there.
Another interesting fact that some of the things that are in this movie that no longer exist in Dayton is that no longer says Mead. The Mead building moved out. That is, I believe, Bank One Tower. Yeah, Mead moved out. You can see the top of the Mead building right there. It no longer says Mead. Where we were just at, showing that, getting that scene. This is where we were getting that scene from. So they didn't have to move that far away from where they were at. But for some reason, they did not want to use this area right here to throw him off. I think it might have had to do with they wanted him to land in the street, and he wouldn't have been able to land in the street because they brought him all the way over to here. And this is where they did that shot at right there. Now, the Mead building, I've seen a lot of things in this movie that don't exist in Dayton anymore, but the Mead building would be right here. That's Courthouse Square. I'm just above the courthouse. This is where the band scene was, and this is where they ran across the street. But this building, let's take our trusty little yellow Google guy and drop him down there. And of course, he wouldn't go where I wanted him to. But he used to say Mead on it. No longer says Mead. And that's the building that I used to, it used to say Mead right across the top there.
Sandy King there.
Who is this?
You got an older sister? Sister ran away about 1.5 years ago. I just want to make sure I had the right person.
Who is this?
She told me she had a sister.
Do you know Christy?
Well, look, my name's Goose. I've got something Christy wants you to have. Something I'm supposed to give you.
Where's she at? She okay?
She's all right. She wants you to have this thing. I gotta give it to you pretty soon. Do you know where the train station is in downtown Dayton? Good. Can you meet me there in an hour?
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you in an hour.
She actually does not go to the train station in downtown Dayton. She goes to 3rd and Wayne, which is about 8 blocks away from the train station in downtown Dayton.
Are they waking up?
There's the Holden house again. He wants to make it appear that we're going to the train station, but they didn't. They went back to, this is the train station, but she doesn't go there. This is a picture of how the train station looked before they tore these down, the platforms that I was up on earlier. This is how it looked before they tore down Union Station, Dayton. 40 West 4th Street, Holden House Hotel, Wilkinson Plaza. Here's another quick scene of how it looked. Back, man. See how the platform looked? And where we were at was right over here before they tore it down.
Let's get that motherfucker. Let's take him out and get that fucking bag.
Again, you can see the Wilkinson Plaza, which is at 126 Wilkinson Street. You can see Wilkinson Plaza in the background right there. So that tells me I was in the right spot earlier when I showed the location. A little bit of Dayton history, because all of this has now been torn down. It's just the flat platform. You can see the Wilkinson Plaza right behind where they're at. These things are gone now. The area that they are participating in this fight is right up here, which it's, you can still see this building in the background. You see this, you can see them fighting along through here. And as I go around the corner, this was the parking for the patrons that were going to ride the trains. But as I go around the corner, you can clearly see the Wilkinson Plaza right there. A little bit of history about Wilkinson Plaza while we're here. This was low-income housing for the, at first it was a old folks home in 1979 when it was put up. But this building is, there, I think it's set to be demolished. Matter of fact, I did a video once before where I show where I worked maintenance and security in this building. This is where my office was, and at the time of this filming, of this Google Maps, I occupied that office, and I could see something in the window, the 14th floor of my office that's there. These pieces, this was a broken window, and I put up some like styrofoam right there, and these were the blinds that I kept pulled back. I would sit in this window right here. My desk was right here. But this building is set to be demolished, and the famous Holden house is right next to it. I don't know if Sinclair Community College is going to buy these or not. I did a video, methed up situation in Dayton, Ohio, where there was a lady walking around through here, methed out. This end scene was done at 3rd and Wayne, behind the Montgomery Paper Company. Take note of that church in the background right there. It's important for the scene lineups and these trailers. As well as this building directly across from Goose right there. It's changed a little bit as this fire shaft is not there. You can see this, I lined this up pretty well too.
Now, what I'm trying to do is some of the matchups from the locations for the movie Deadbeat at Dawn, a 1987, re-released in 2019 by Jim Van Bebber. And I'm going around the city of Dayton to get some of the matchups because it's a cult movie. It's a really good movie. It's not politically correct. It's a B-rated movie. He went on to do another movie called Charlie's Family. Went to Wright State University. But they did a scene right back here where you can see the church in the background. There's a fight scene right here with a light blue Buick. I'm also going to dub over this so I get it right because I'm going to match this right up to the movie. So the fight scene was right about here where he's got his arm in the car and she drives him through to here. Right about where my car is at, where that fight scene is at. And in the background, you can see a fire escape coming down the building there. I don't think it's there anymore. A long vent, they changed it. But they still park the trailers in the same spot as they did back in the 80s. So, and then you see her driving in between the two buildings right here into this.
To recap, do a little edit in my editing here on this scene here, just real quick. You can see the Montgomery County paper in the background and the church that I was pointed out that's still there. They still line the trailers up the same way that they have since the early 70s, actually. This building here, you can see it in the background because they drive through the alley. But this is the front part of that. That church is significant. And it's, see it all kind of happened behind that. You can see that vent in the background. It's not there anymore on the side of that building. They took that out. But the fire escapes remain. You see the window. You see where they go in between those two buildings. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to show that.
What is this? That's $100,000 of stolen money. Take it before the cops get here. Where's Christy?
It's easy with that voice double.
Did you kill her? I loved her.
like I was saying earlier, when he comes out of the end of this alley and falls down into the ground, you can see in the background 2 people sitting at the bus stop. One of them is my ex-wife. She's my ex-wife now. We get along really good. Actually, she works with me, but her name is Melissa. And then her cousin Gary. They stand up, and you can see them in the background. Now, we did not know that, again, until I rented the movie. And she just happened to be in it. We recognized Dayton. She didn't remember it until she saw it. And they said, oh, yeah, now I remember. The guy said he was going to, they were going to film him coming out of the alley. Don't be scared or whatever, but just, stand up and look. It's for a movie. Then she remembered it. But I wanted to come back to that part just for her. It's a thing in the family. Some of the people in her family wanted to see it, so I wanted to be sure that I added it to this. There she is right there, leaning out. That's her cousin Gary, but he's smiling his ass off. You can see he's a character there, that guy. But you can see them right there. And then they stand up. That's all they were told to do. Stand up. I'll go through it again. Just real quick. She was actually going on her bus to go see one of their boyfriend she met before me. Now you see him laying there. And it happened right here. Just in front of this, there's the alley that he came out right there, and he fell right there. And that's where the bus stop was. It's cool because this is the arts district. Now, something that I noticed was fire hydrants never go away when you're going to look for movie locations. They just don't move them. They stay, generally. And that one was there. And you can see it right there, just beyond that. It's still there. There it is.
This alley, which has changed significantly over the years. I don't have a steady. I'm doing this raw. I do my videos raw. But I'm going to show where the car went through. First, I'm going to get a good look at this building so we can line that up. You see this building off into the background, back through there where they had the fight. You can see her drive in between this right here.
You also see that building over to the left.
And she turns into this alley up here.
You see the building at 40 West 4th Street in the movie. I don't show it too well in the background clip.
Looks like they have. If not, I'll just go around to the front of it. Now you can see some of the car would have came right through here. Right here. Came down this way. Right here, and then they changed the shot. Hi. They did a movie back here a long time ago. I'm getting the locations.
Deadbeat at Dawn, if you ever want to see it. They did a good scene in that alley right there. And you can see her pull into this right here, but the shot that they got, of her pulling in there, it's probably about right where this blue dumpster is at. See if I can line that up.
There you go. Well, that's back when they made cars good, that old Buick LeSabre right there. But here's the lineup of that shot. It would be right here where she's going into.
That's where she pulled the blue Buick in. And then she pulls into this alley right here, which now there's a fence here.
You can actually see these two windows right behind where he's at. They were boarded up at the time. Later on, you'll be able to see these two vents when I turn around and show the clip. The two windows that I'm talking about are right here that were boarded up at that time. This building has undergone some extensive remodeling, and now it's a high-end condo community in Dayton. Again, I apologize that my camera phone was set at this ratio. I did not realize it until I went to do the editing after I'd been to these locations. So I chose to leave it this way, and I hope it comes out all right.
And then her car ends up about right where those stairs are, in the middle. Dug into this building a little bit. You can see those two windows in the movie on the bottom and the top. This is a little bit different than it used to be, but I think they added a new ramp back here. And these steps were not here. The car, I'm standing right where the car, the Buick, driven by Goose's girlfriend's sister, would have been, back up a little bit more, about right here.
In the background of this blue, bloody Buick, you can see some of the things that indicate the right location. This boarded up window, this wall sticking out a little bit, and this post, which is now painted black. These are gray now. And then there's a little doorway here and a little window right there. These items are right here. Is the small window, the window behind it, and the post that is in the movie is still there. That means the car was right here in this area. He actually bites his finger off, but I'm not going to show that. He spits it at him.
Now the scene where we got dragged along the car on this right here, where you can see these popping out in the video. But that occurred about right just the other side of this doorway, about right before you get to the doorway, and then she pulled off there. So there's more down there. Jim Van Bebber actually sustained a really bad cut. It's on his shoulder, and from doing that scene. But he toughed it out and did it anyway. But that's where he got dragged along right there. Then you'll see him. Did you kill her? I loved her. But
$100,000 of stolen money. Take it before the cops get
That's a real bleed on his shoulder.
Where's Christy?
dead.
Did you kill her?
I loved her. I loved her.
this is where he staggers out into the street right through here. But it's a little further up. I have to go by count the windows. I think he starts at about right here. And you can see him staggering out into the street towards the end of the movie. '87 Cult Classic. He comes across this right here. And he would have been face down right here where the brick starts. They show him face down, the scene right here like this. Then they move over back this way a little bit, and they get a scene of him laying there. In the background, standing at a bus stop, which I'm going to walk up to in a minute, is my first wife when she was just 16 years old, before I met her. And she's there with her cousin Gary, the redheaded guy that stands up with the jean jacket. And we didn't know anything about this until we rented this movie. That's what's so cool about it. I've already explained the story. But what's the odds of renting a movie and then finding out you're in it? Now, I think the bus stop, try and line it up, where they stood up at. I think it was right here. This would have been their point of view of the person coming out. But yeah, in the movie you can see the background of that church right there. You can see that several times in the background. And I'll go back through this way.
I know he went up against this window sill. It's the same one. Yeah, that fight scene where he got his finger bit off happened right in here. Oh no, yeah, it happened back here too. And not knowing that classic movies was ever made was done in this alley right here. This is the logo Dayton inspires. It's the same. That Buick grinded up against that. It's cool to have a little lounge outside. I don't want to get hit by a blue Buick when I walk out here. Smoke break?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you ever seen that movie Deadbeat at Dawn? Dayton, Ohio movie? They filmed a really good scene back there.
Dude was sitting behind his car smoking a fatty when I came around the corner there. When I came around the corner there, I got hit in the face with like some green crack or something, and that shit smacked me right in the mouth. That's why I started talking to him.
If you look it up on YouTube, it's pretty cool that it's still the same except for them gates and stuff. That's what I'm doing back here filming.
That's that's a residential building, so I just want to be sure people knew what I was doing back there. Hey, I'm like the old man. Get the hell out of my yard.
Blue Buick.
Yeah, she came down that way in the blue Buick from here. And you can see all these buildings on the side in the movie. You can stop them. And you can go back and look and stop it. You can line it all up. Awesome.
And in the movie, it's also clearly visible that the Montgomery Paper Company, you could bring, back in the day, you could bring scrap paper up here, and they'd pay you for it. You see this facade as well.
That vent is gone. That used to be there.
Movie. And I'm off to my
Thank you for watching.